Retail Therapy, we're back. My name's Will DeFries. Barrett Dudley, how we doing today?
I'm doing great, Will. I'm just enjoying the fresh scent of spring in the air. You know, we're officially in the 8-week stretch of Austin weather that makes people move here.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
it's perfect outside.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I wish it wasn't going to be 86 today. Like, I didn't. You're in a sweatshirt because it's cool in here, but like, I didn't grab a lightweight jacket this morning. You know what I mean? And I would have liked. I have been the other days of this week because it was peaking at like 78, 79. But when you don't get to grab a lightweight jacket, a little piece of you dies inside. You know, it's like when you don't get to reach for your lightweight jacket.
I used to just overthink things that I would wear to just random stuff, like the normal stuff, like going out at night.
Yeah.
Weddings, things like that. And now the dad in me has really just infiltrated my brain, and now I panic over fits for like the grocery store. Like, wait, it's going to be 86 degrees outside, but in the cooler section it's going to be freezing. Maybe at school drop off, I'm like, I don't want these other moms to think that like I'm just some schlub that like doesn't put himself together.
Yeah.
And so like I've been putting together fits in the morning that are like, I'm wearing like a down vest over like t-shirt and shorts because I'm trying to be utilitarian here, and it's not good. It's giving camp counselor.
I mean, as somebody that has not done shit for the last 3 weekends, like, I get it. Like now, my time to show out is when I go to the grocery store and get a grocery store beer on a Saturday afternoon. And it's like that. This is my opportunity to wear my Jown Sambas. You know what I mean? Like, I better.
Don't bring those up, dude.
I better flex out.
If you think I'm not thinking about it before I go to the grocery store, you're crazy. Like, it's one of my favorite places to flex a nice chill fit.
I made Laura go to the grocery store with me last weekend on a Saturday. And when we arrived, I like parked in a spot that was a little bit closer to the cafe. And she was like, "Why are you parking here?" And I was like, "Oh, just no reason." And then when we walked in, I was like, "Okay, I'm going to get my beer. If you'll go start." It was a huge mistake on my part. This did not go over well, that I was going to get a walk around beer.
She realized that you've been doing this your entire life?
while she had to start the shop. And there was like a bit of a line. So lesson learned. I'll just go solo. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I brought her because I got a couple of weeks ago, I got sent with like a list that looked like a CVS receipt. It was so long, and it took me like an hour and a half. And so I was like, it scarred me a little bit. I was like, I need an extra set of hands. But then I got the grocery store beer poo-pooed. So like, I'm going
back
solo.
Back to solo. You got to fly private these days.
Yeah.
I think you are inspiring me. I haven't done the solo beer around the supermarket yet.
We go to the same grocery store, and it's the best grocery store to do this.
See, I'm going to start doing it. I think I'm going to start doing it. I've been grilling a lot more since I've acquired a grill. And I've also been thinking about my grill fits as well. Those ALD, there you go. Thank you. Clogs have really come in handy for the grill sessions. Yeah. I do think they're messing with the structure of my feet a little bit, but that's okay.
The cork footbed of them does not break in quite as well as, say, a Birkenstock.
Yeah. The other night I was laying in bed.
Might be a lower grade cork.
I had the arch of my foot cramping up, and I was like, yeah, it's those damn clogs I've been wearing around. I got to stop doing that. Yeah, I mean, I got a little salty when Barrett brought up the Jown Sambas as that is just not something I have acquired in life.
Right.
Not something I'm going to acquire in life. I've seen some people on my feed who have been wearing them around, and I have to say they look great.
Yeah.
I have included a link in this rundown, Barrett, to Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, who's been spotted wearing the white Sambas in a recent interview. And now I'm starting to rethink the take that I've had that Sambas will never go out of style, because I don't love what he's doing here.
Yeah, this is a tough look. I'm pulling it up here for our listeners watching on YouTube. This reminds me of like we talked about a column about baggy pants a few weeks back that was in the New York Times, and I think it was written by Jonah Weiner, the guy that writes Blackbird Spy Plane, and it had this like, it had the two photos. It was one from like 2010 or whenever, when Obama threw out the first pitch at a White Sox game, and he was wearing like real baggy dad jeans, and he got roasted for this fit. And then it showed a picture of Obama now, where he's wearing like very skinny like Lulu joggers, in like some cool white Common Projects-y sneakers. And he also got roasted for that fit. And it's like, because the one at the White Sox game is like now the current fit. All that to say, when guys start wearing like a mizzen and main white dress shirt with some skinny tailored pants and then fill in the blank sneakers, that sneaker is suffering at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Once your sneaker reaches the politician level of
politician
stuff,
level
it makes
stuff,
you start to question things.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm glad I didn't get the Jound ones, and I'm just gonna put all the blame on him.
But I mean, at the same time, maybe this guy, maybe we need to give him a little bit more benefit of the doubt, right? Like maybe he just he's got to wear this stuff because he's a politician, and he's just like, but I'm also a cool guy because look, I do have Sambas for my, for my free time.
Maybe Ruiz sent him a pair from End.
Maybe
he just did it.
Maybe he did. But yeah, so I don't know. You could go either way with this. It's like you always say. You were always the first to point this out. Samba's never. They've always been.
I know
part of the conversation. They're just super zeitgeisty right now.
They're out for me until June.
Yeah,
until June. That's when I'm doing the hard reset. But because of the Jound situation, because of our man Rishi, I'm just not doing it. Have you ever watched the Prime Minister's questions on the BBC?
I've not.
Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
No, I don't.
They have a
the Beeb.
I don't know how to. I'm going to mess this up. So apologies to any British listeners out there, but they essentially put him or whoever the prime minister is at the time, up at a microphone, and people just sit in like the parliament and just like roast him with questions the entire time. It's the greatest TV show, and I wish that they did this in the United States, but I mean, I don't think we'd want to see a lot of our presidents getting bombarded with these questions a lot because it would make us lose faith pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But like the way that they just like, it's unhinged behavior in there. They're just yelling at each other, grumbling like, it's primal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like the most entertaining 30 minutes of television every week.
I used to be a very religious watcher of Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. And he would always kind of like cover like the crazy goings-ons in British Parliament. And British Parliament is lit.
It's
like,
wild,
It is a different scene
wild.
over there.
I don't know. I started watching it like randomly when we had it on Dish Network when I was like really young. And I was like, I don't know what they're talking about, but it's really entertaining. And then they'll tackle like the biggest of topics. And then they'll have some random dude that's just talking about these farmers in the Cotswolds who are like struggling without some resource. And it's like, okay, yep, we're covering everything here.
I feel like they should televise the conversations between the prime minister and the
Gen Zer who put him in the Sambas.
No, in the what's the word I'm looking for? The sovereign, the king or the queen.
Oh yeah, that'd be lit.
Yeah,
they can't do that.
No, they can't do that. But I'm wrapping up the final season of The Crown right now, and I just I think that.
Do I need to wrap it up?
So
Prince Charles is too hot.
The show loves Prince/King Charles. They really do.
It's great. He's too hot in the show.
Casting Dominic West, it was like all you needed to know that they are pro King Charles.
I watched every other season religiously at like appointment television, and then they came out with this one. I was like, all right, we've jumped the shark. Like he will never be that hot.
So Laura and I have been talking about this, and we've talked to some other people that are Crown watchers about it a little bit. But like this last season, it's getting a little bit too close to current times.
Yeah,
and there's less of like. So, look, seasons 1 through 4, really, it's like, even though they are taking some creative license with it and that they are filling in a lot of the blanks, there's also been, 60, 70 years between some of the stuff that happens. And so, a lot of it has been explained or written about in memoirs, or like, there's just way more of a historical feel to it where you feel like you're watching what genuinely happened. Now we're like into the late 90s and early 2000s, and you're like, there's no way you know what William and his grandfather talked about. You know what I mean? Like,
it's like soap opera to me.
Yeah. It feels a lot more. You can just feel the way that it's being dramatized a lot more.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of diminishing returns, but it's still good television.
Okay.
So,
I have an open weekend without Sally around, which means that I can watch anything I want.
I think you mentioned this off mic before we started, but I think you just need to crush Shogun.
I think I'm going to.
Yeah.
I played the trailer for her, and she wasn't out on Shogun when we watched the trailer, but she was looking at it like, she didn't look excited to start it. So I think it might just need to be your boys dive in this weekend.
Yeah.
Oysters, clams, and cockles.
Oysters, Clams, and Cockles, my other podcast, covering Shogun.
Before we get into today's topics, let's hear from our friends over at Muggsy. Muggsy makes damn comfortable clothing for guys everywhere. They started by reinventing jeans, the jeans game in 2015, and now they make the best jeans, chinos, tops, and joggers ever. Muggsy works exclusively with some of the best designers and manufacturers around the world to deliver the finest quality fabrics directly to your door, and their entire goal is making guys more comfortable at work, at the bar, on the course, wherever they may be, by giving them one place to shop. Made from buttery soft, patented stretch materials that look stylish but are insanely comfortable. They're never too baggy, never too tight. They have everything. They don't just have jeans. They've got everything from t-shirts to crew necks to corduroy shirts that Randy and I love. If you want a staple for your wardrobe, if you want to be able to walk into your closet and grab anything out and it's going to go together, go over to Muggsy. Right now, first-time customers can get 20% back on their first order. All you need to do is head to Muggsy.com and enter your email, and the discount is automatically added to your cart. No code, no anything. That's 20% back on the only jeans and pants you will ever wear again. Free shipping and free returns on every single order. So the only risk is never knowing how great they truly are. Randy, get that hand ready, my friend, because we're about to talk Aime Leon Dad. I'm very happy you put this in the rundown, Barrett, because I very much enjoy this guy.
Yeah, had you seen this before?
He'd gotten served to me a couple times, but I didn't hit him with the follow. I didn't realize he had done so many parts of this.
Yeah, this came across my Explore feed. I saw the words Aime Leon Dore and immediately hit the vid. And this dude has a great bit going. I really like what he's doing. First of all, I think everybody. As much hate as this brand has gotten, the more popular it gets. I think what everybody can agree on is that the styling is really well done, and the visual and the creative and the storytelling of it all is like what Teddy Santis arguably does best. Nobody's saying it's like the best quality in the world, or that it's not overpriced, or that it's not annoying at times, yada yada yada. But like what this guy's doing is he's taking fits from the lookbooks. And he is a 40-year-old dad, self-described as, bald and slightly overweight and just out there living life. And he puts together fits with some ALD and some vintage and some whatever else, just some inspired by type stuff. And he puts the fits on and he decides if it's an Aime Leon not or an or an Aime Leon maybe, or I actually am not sure I've watched one that's like a full green light. I don't know what his terminology for it is yet.
Yeah, most of the ones I watch, he's like, it's kind of weird.
Yeah. But I really enjoy the way I think this is fun. I think it's like, I think anybody that really likes clothes kind of enjoys the playing dress up part of it. You know what I mean? Like going into your magical kingdom of your wardrobe and looking around at your stuff is like half the fun, you know what I mean? And so that's part of what I like. And then he's obviously choosing some of the crazier fits, like this one, which has like a bright yellow rain jacket and denim jorts with Timberland 3-eye lug soles and slouch socks. You know what I mean? So he's really going for it. And here he is. If you're watching on YouTube with us.
I mean, dude, he kind of crushes
it. And he's got the amazing dad legs.
He's got great dad legs. Great, which to strive for.
Which I think really is helping. And this one.
God, he's got dad legs. These are incredible. Very jealous. You cannot push this guy over.
No, absolutely not.
You're so right about I had a math class. I was taking a math class at a community college, and early on we were doing, I forget what we were learning, but the guy he started talking about. He's like, I can wear a different thing from my closet every day for the next however many days. And we were like, that's insane. And then he started doing the math behind it. And he was like, no, I can put this tie with this outfit, blah, blah, blah. And like, it stopped me from thinking about math at all. It just started getting me. I just started thinking of my own closet being like, oh my God, the possibilities. Like I haven't even thought of this.
Yeah.
When I'm shopping any site at this point, I now being 37, father of 2, I really have to look at some of these lookbook images and be like, Will, it looks great on this 26-year-old model who's living in a big city and probably going out and dressing with fashionable people. Like, you don't need to be wearing this mesh shirt to the Tex-Mex restaurant down the street with your son.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And at 37 years old, I feel very sometimes I feel a wave of relief when they like release like some insane, stupid leather jacket. It's like, I'm kind of glad that I have literally no place to wear that. I will never wear that. As badly as I want it, or as cool as I think it might be, I know in my heart of hearts that I have no spot for
It
that.
is really nice when there's releases from companies in the springtime and they do jackets, or if there's even just sale season during the spring and like jackets are on sale. It's always really nice to know, Will, you do not have to do anything because you live in a hot place. Like you don't need to move right now. You can say that you're going to keep this in the closet all like summer long and do it. But by the time fall rolls along, you're going to want the new stuff that's out there. And it's just nice. It's a comforting non-cop.
Yeah. We just had one up on the screen that he liked. It was an Aime Leon Dore.
Okay. That's good. That's good. That's good.
But yeah, and look, we also get the question a lot. It's like, you know, I love what XYZ brand is doing. Aime, Todd, John Elliott, like whatever, but like I'm not spending that much money. And that, you know, kind of like the question is always where to shop and how to pull that stuff off. I think a guy like this, and by the way, I don't even know if we've said the Instagram handle. I believe it's Newton Street Vintage, at Newton Street Vintage. He's doing what you're supposed to do. He's looking at the creative and he's taking inspiration from it. He's shopping his own closet, or he's thrifting, or he's finding other pieces that are representative in the same way and putting them together and like showing you that like it doesn't have to be that specific brand to achieve the same identity, basically the same look. And so I think it's kind of a fun resource from and an inspiration point from that angle as well. But he's also just got like a fun attitude about this and is putting out some good content. So shouts to the Aime Leon Dad.
One of my favorite things is when Teddy Stantis does his photo drops on his Instagram story. He does it like once a quarter, and you always kind of know that there's going to be a drop after he does it.
Yep.
And just seeing the photos that he takes of people that are either employees, friends of ALD, stuff like that, the way that they style things that I'm like, oh, I have that in my closet. I never thought about styling like this. I always seem to get a lot of inspiration from those kind of things. And it's like, oh, this is a fun way to do it. But like the styling that they have is so good that like it, and just, I mean, the products that they have to work with are obviously incredible, but like, it's just, I don't know. There's so many different ways to do stuff. In his last drop of photos on his Instagram story, he had a guy wearing the cashmere hoodie that I have, and he had a bandana tied around the neck underneath the hoodie. And I was like, I cannot wait to do this to the grocery store one day. I'm going to be absolutely dripping in the pre-made food section, trying to figure out which soup I want to get. It's going to be an exciting time. I need to up my accessory game.
Yeah.
I have no accessories, Barrett. I'm not even wearing my wedding ring right now. Like I need to get it on my stuff. Are we getting this Porsche?
Well, I mean, I think you should start accessorizing with a little 944 turbo Porsche. Yeah.
It's a splash of an accessory if you show up with the ALD Porsche.
Yeah.
Why do they do this? Just because like they have the
sick
relationship with Porsche and they're like, yeah, if Porsche wants to keep making us cars, like we'll keep putting them in our stores.
Yeah. I can't say too much. I can't give anything away. But let me just say, from my own experience working at a brand, when given the opportunity or when brainstorming about the opportunity to do your own thing to a car or a truck or a Jeep and put your brand's ethos into it and something that is cool and representative and like makes you feel awesome, like you jump at that opportunity.
Should we do a retail thing? There's a Discovery just down the street that's for sale right now.
Yeah.
It's $16,000. Randy and I looked up yesterday how much it costs to paint a car. It can cost anywhere from $500 to $5,000. So we're $20,000 committed to this thing. Can we get returns on this thing if we make it the retail therapy? We can get it wrapped in like saran wrap.
I don't know. Well, like as a middle class Midwestern dad, I feel like we should just be going for more like a Honda Sienna.
That's
something.
fine.
That seems like most on brand for retail therapy.
Can I negotiate a Saab out of the deal?
Yeah, maybe a Saab. Yeah.
I'd be fine. I'd be fine getting a retail therapy Saab.
I mean, a Saab would be cool.
Do Saabs still exist? Are they still making
Jerry
cars?
Seinfeld 90s Saab convertible?
Saabs were sweet.
Yeah.
They don't still make those, right? Saab has to be out of business.
That's a good question. If Saab is still in business, I feel like it's only for like a European market.
It's not good when you search Saab, and on their website, that one of the top things from Saab.com is just a question: do Saab still make cars? Do Saab still make cars?
Do Saab?
Does Saab still make
do
cars?
Saab. The British would say do Saab.
I know it's wrecking my brain saying, do Saab still make cars? Yeah, I don't think they're. I think they got acquired by somebody, and so I think it looks like they had a merger. I don't know.
That brand IP is just waiting to be revived,
dude. Saab collab when?
Yeah,
that's an opportunity for someone.
So. Yeah. Speaking of insane, crazy leather jackets, Will, how do you feel about we're obviously talking about the ALD Porsche stuff right now, but like, I have a hard time doing any collaboration where like the collaborator is something that I don't actually own or have any experience with.
Yeah.
Like I get that this stuff is cool, but like I don't have a Porsche. Is this not like just like the poserist of the posery?
It feels like it. Like they've had a lot of collabs in the past where I'm like, I would love to get this. It's got the cool like convertible on it. This is awesome. But like I would feel like a fraud the entire time, not having any skin in the game.
They did like in their latest drop, they did like a graphic tee that has like some cars on it, and it is a specific type of car, but it's done in like a cool illustration, and it is not like focused on the type of car. So I get that. Or even the stuff that they used to do several years ago, where it was like it's very clearly like an old Range Rover, but it's not Range Rover branded.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, I get that too. That car says something that you like, and you like what it represents. All that. This straight up has a massive Porsche logo on the back.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So you're gonna walk around in this $2,500 leather jacket and not own the Porsche? Like, I don't know. It's weird.
It's like the Rolex
if you do
stuff.
Own the Porsche, it's even weird. It might be even weirder.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Why are you so into it? You're getting a leather jacket? Like, chill.
Like we get
it. You have a Porsche.
Yeah, exactly. So
like I've always wanted something with I like the Rolex logo is just classic, but like in order for me to wear something that had the Rolex logo on it, it either needs to be a Rolex that has the logo on it, or it needs to be a hat from an event that was sponsored by Rolex.
Right.
But I would feel like a douchebag just wearing a Rolex hat around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it was like a Wimbledon hat, or like an America's Cup hat, or like some like random sporting event, like some ski event,
I think that's the loophole.
That's really badass to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
shout out to all my Aime Leon dads out there.
Church.
We should, if there's a Discord or like a Facebook group or something, I want in.
Of Aime Leon dads?
Yeah.
Exclusively.
I want in.
Yeah.
He might just need to change his app because it's a good bit. It's a good bit. Today we get to talk about an article from The Cut that went pretty crazy last week after we had recorded, but I have to circle back on it because it's just something.
It's really something. Yeah.
What's your overall take on The Cut? Do you pay attention to The Cut?
I do pay attention to The Cut. I like The Cut. I think they do a lot of pretty clever stuff. I think it's really funny sometimes as well. And I take The Cut with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you have to.
Coming from New York Mag, but overall, I feel positively about The Cut.
I used to love The Cut, and then during lockdown, they started really doing a lot in their Instagram captions, and I think it was one of those things where I was just being too online, and I started to get annoyed with their Instagram captions because they were just dunking on people left and right, and I thought it was just like, okay, we get it. Like you got these zingers in the caption.
This is The Cut or Diet Prada?
It was The Cut.
Okay,
and it was giving Diet Prada.
Yeah, okay.
And I was just like, okay, like they're just being a little much right now for me. And so I unfollowed them, but I still follow them pretty much everywhere just to see what they're doing. But a few weeks ago, or I guess probably months at this point, they had a column about from their financial person who was talking about how she got like scammed out of like $25,000, and everyone's like, do not publish this. Like, stop doing this. Why are you doing this to her? And now they've kind of done a similar thing but I think they're making their money on the entertainment clicks these days when it comes to these articles. The one that we're talking about today is called "The Case for Marrying an Older Man. A Woman's Life is All About Rest. An Age Gap Relationship Can Help." This is a lot.
It's all about work and little rest.
Oh, sorry. It's all about work and
woman's
little
life
rest.
A woman's life is all work and little rest. An age gap
none of us can do it.
God.
Hold on.
An age gap relationship can help.
Lock in. Oh, now I'm really scared to read the passages I've taken from this. She is a Harvard and Oxford graduate. She has a pedigree. At the time of marriage, she was 23 and he was 33. So it's a 10-year age difference. I'm going to read one of the passage from the first part of the article. It says, I purchased scratch-offs, jackpot tickets, scraping the former with euro coins in restaurants too fine for that. I never cashed them in, nor do I check the winning numbers, for I already won something like the lotto with its gifts and its curses when he married me. He is 10 years older than I am. I chose him on purpose, not by chance. As far as life decisions go, on balance, I recommend it. It's Giving Mastermind by Taylor Swift.
Yeah, the if you've not read this column, it's essentially a woman explaining how and why she got her MRS degree.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
she's very unapologetic about it.
Yeah.
She had the realization in college, like, wait, I could skip all the grind of the corporate world if I just married someone here. And she presents it in a way that you begin to start thinking, hold on, is this a good? No, she should not be operating like this.
I mean, maybe or maybe not. You know, you've in our notes here, and I thought the same thing as I started reading this column. It does off jump. It's giving trad wife, right?
Yes.
Which is not something that we've discussed. And like, I understand why people are upset about the trad wife movement online for sure. And at the other side of the coin, like I don't have a problem for the way that anybody wants and chooses to live their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I don't like the concept of a trad wife, like I'm fine with it. The online movement and some of the inconsistencies with it, especially with how these women are actually creating content and building a brand and making money off of that, which is antithetical to the idea of the trad wife in the first place.
Yeah.
Like I get why why it riles people up the way that it does. I also thought, Will, I don't know if you felt this way. Especially in the first quarter or third of this column, I am very struck by her prose. Like she should be writing a romance
She's
novel.
a really good writer. She's a really good writer.
It's and I think that she's going for that, right? Like because, you know, I half expected a raunchy sex scene to take place after she wrote, I called and climbed into an Uber. Then I promptly climbed out of it. For there he was, emerging from the revolving doors. Brown eyes, curved lips, immaculate jacket. I went to him, asked for a cigarette. A date, days later. A second one where I discovered he was a person, potentially my favorite kind.
Ooh.
Funny, clear-eyed, brilliant, on intimate terms with the universe. Like, come on, she's writing a
It's
book
good.
here.
It's good.
You know what I mean? So it was good, but it was also hard to take this column seriously as having any type of POV, like a real world POV, because she's writing in this like flowery way that feels like she's writing a novel more so than something else. Not that a novel can't have a POV; they mostly do. But I just like it almost like took me out of what she was trying to say.
She makes a kind of. I actually think she makes a good case in this article. It's at one point where she begins talking about how women should stop trying to fix their boyfriends because they're just fixing them for a future person and or like teaching them behaviors that someone else is going to benefit
she's
from
going
in the
into
future.
the whole somebody cooked here TikTok bit.
Exactly. And she was making a good point. Like, no, don't do this for him. He can do this on his own and figure out how to do his own like fucking laundry. Like she even talks about like she told the girlfriend of her brother, like, don't treat my sweet brother like this. Like he doesn't deserve to be treated like this. He needs to grow up himself, blah, blah, blah. And I honestly, I started thinking back and I was like, okay, like I had these girlfriends that did all these things for me. And I like, she even said something about how like she shamed someone for packing their husband's suitcase. And I was like, oh, Sally will do that at the tail end of a trip for sure. And I was like, man, she's kind of calling me out here. But like, okay, I will also say a 33-year-old marrying a 23-year-old is not the craziest thing that's ever happened.
It's not, although if we're going by the rule of thumb, you know, the unspoken rule, half your age plus 7, then that's right then it just barely clears it.
If I like when I was 33, had one of my friends brought a 23-year-old to like a group dinner and introduce us, I think the narrative would have all been like behind the scenes. Everyone's like, oh, it's just dating a 23-year-old. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Like he's doing that.
That is barely out of college.
But like now that she's 27 and he's 37, that's
now
nothing to me. Like that's nothing to me.
Yeah.
23 to me, like when you're 23, you don't have the scar tissue from the first couple years of like living life. Whereas like when you're 27 to me is pretty much similar to 37. The only difference for me between 27 and 37 is like I'm more advanced in my career and I have kids now.
Yeah.
Like there's not a big difference in my life.
Yeah. You're right. And I think because it just passes the threshold for following the rule, it's not the craziest thing in the world, which I think speaks to the fact that like part of what she's saying, like I think she's kind of writing this as though she's come up with a new idea.
Oh, she is. Yeah.
But it's not. And I mean, women have been doing this for quite some time.
This is a take on it.
I think I definitely think it's like, I mean, I joke with Laura all the time, like that basically that she should have done this.
Yeah.
This would have been a much easier life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I've got no problem with anybody that aims to do this. The part that I started to find interesting is the middle, when she does start talking about like her essentially her issues with modern day quote unquote partnerships, right? She says, "I'm 27 now, and most women my age have quote partners. These days, girls become partners quite young. A partner is supposed to be a modern answer to the oppression of marriage, the terrible feeling of someone looming over you, head of a household to which you can only ever be the neck. Necks are vulnerable. The problem with a partner, however, is if you're equal in all things, you compromise in all things, and men are too skilled at taking." And then she kind of launches in. And this part is the part that I start to find a little bit strange, because now here it seems like she's mad at men.
I almost feel like she's mad at society more I don't know. Like she launches into talking about how women have to squeeze in having kids and doing and just all the things that women have to do when you're growing a family. And like that, she makes a lot of good points during that. But like it is a little she's mad at I take it more as being mad at like the societal norms of what we've determined for building a family, and how she's forced to have or most people are forced to have a career while doing this, and they shouldn't. But that's also much more of an American thing than it is a lot of other countries.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it probably struck a nerve with me in particular because I do find myself in a partnership. Like that is how we describe it.
I think most couples do these days.
Very equal. And I feel like she tries to convey that is not actually possible.
Yeah.
Because men can't do it.
Yeah. Well, she says, I'm going to read a passage right now that if anyone did this to me, if I was 23 and a 33-year-old woman did this to me, I would be head over heels. She said, "My husband isn't my partner. He's my mentor, my lover, and only in certain contexts, my friend. I'll never forget it, how he showed me around our first place like he was introducing me to myself. This is the wine you'll drink, where you'll keep your clothes. We vacation here. This is the other language we'll speak. You'll learn it." And I did. Adulthood seemed a series of exhausting obligations, but his logistics ran so smoothly that he simply tacked mine on. Are you telling me that if you had an older woman walking around your new place and she was like, "This is the wine you're going to be drinking," like I'm melting in front of her?
Yeah. Like I said, I can't hate on anybody that goes in onto this Great Gatsby journey, you know?
My favorite thing about these articles is just that somebody is willing to write them and willing to put it out in the world and willing to put themselves out there to the point where they know they're going to get criticism for this sort of thing.
Totally.
But they don't care. Yep. They're team content. They want the clicks. They want the clicks.
Last thing I'll add here is that some of this it's so well written, it's so novelistic that I almost don't believe 30% of it.
It's fair. It's fair. I did wonder
that passage that you just wrote again is like something in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it happens.
Oh no, it's definitely something in a movie.
Maybe she's one of the 0.5% of women that this happens to, but I don't know.
Her life sounds baller.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
pretty
totally.
jealous. Pretty jealous.
Good
for her. Well, I had to seek Twitter today to get a copy of this article in PDF form, as I have exhausted my Wall Street Journal articles. But this is about lowercase letters, something I'm very familiar with. This is an article called Time to start typing like a grown-up. And the article is, the title of the article is typed in all lowercase. And this is really going directly at anybody who does not have the auto grammar on, autocorrect on, whatever it is. Barrett, what is your take on the people who type all lowercase?
Well, let me first start by saying, as an elder millennial, I guess, I didn't even know that auto capital was something that you could turn off.
Oh, it is.
So I had no idea that this is. I'm showing my age here. Did not know that this was a thing the youngs were doing, is going in and turning this off on purpose.
Oh yeah, you can turn it off.
So as a Word guy, like just in general, I'm just going to call myself a Word guy.
Like a Microsoft Word guy.
No.
Just you like words?
Just yeah.
Okay.
I like writing, good at crosswords.
Okay.
All that type of thing. Like I'm a Word guy.
You're going to choose a crossword over Sudoku every single time. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
I've always leaned towards typing in perfect grammar with capitalizations, whether that's on text messages or emails or writing a paper or whatever else it might be. So I don't take any type of umbrage with people that are typing in all lowercase, but I also don't think I've experienced anybody texting me that way.
I have numerous people in my life who go all lowercase.
I know you do this on Twitter.
I exclusively do this on Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't do it anywhere else in my life. And I don't know. I started doing it at Grand X, and I don't know why I started doing it. I have no actual reason as to why I decided to go with the like aloof, chill typing as opposed to just doing regular grammar.
Yeah.
Like I've always been a grammar, not stickler, but when it comes to spelling and just the way something looks, I've always liked it to be proper looking.
Yeah.
Even when I had T9 on my original cell phone, I was still doing capital letters and like typing well. I was putting periods at the end of things. I once sent a really drunk text and like using my T9 text, and the person the next day said, "Will, I'm more impressed that like you had perfect grammar using T9 when you were that drunk." And I was like, that's just how I am. And like, even today, when I text message people or when I DM with somebody, even if I'm DMing on Twitter, I'm probably not going all lowercase. And I don't see a scenario where you shouldn't be typing outside of like Twitter, which is dumb. I don't see a scenario where you should be typing in all lowercase. But now it's like popular. Taylor Swift's doing her albums with all lowercase. Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, like they're all going lowercase, aloof, chill. They don't care.
Yeah. So who's texting you in all lowercase?
My sisters-in-law.
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Sister-in-laws?
They do all lowercase?
There's a couple of them that do all lowercase. I've got numerous people in my life that do it. They're the ones I converse with the most who do it though.
Yeah.
But this says, I'm going to read a couple things from the article. It says, but shunning the shift key helps others cling to their youth, which that killed me inside when I read it. It said, to them, a lowercase letter isn't just a lowercase letter. Instead, it's a way to forever remain cool and casual in texts. Even some CEOs do it. Lexicographers agree. They say lowercase typing isn't laziness. It actually takes effort since auto-capitalization is generally on by default. Like emojis and exclamation points, this is one of the many ways in which people try to get their humanness to shine through cold technical interfaces. Morgan typed in lowercase throughout her 20s, feeling it gave off a kind of carefree mimosa brunch vibe. In her previous role as a social media strategist, she occasionally tweeted in lowercase. She started a new job last November in Dallas where she works on events and coordinates with clients and vendors. She didn't want them to see messages in all lowercase and think an intern was texting them, so she turned on auto capitalization. That's what she should have done from the jump.
Yeah.
I don't have auto capitalization turned off. So just know that every time that my phone autocorrects something on Twitter to like the proper version, I have to go back and delete it every single time just to keep the bid up. And it's not fun. I'm seriously considering just going completely back to normal.
Even on Twitter?
Yeah, even on, yeah, because at this point, it's more of a hassle than anything. But I also think that I'll miss it. Like, I'm not ready to totally commit to the official, like, I'm a 37-year-old person who needs to just be a 37-year-old person typing normally.
Yeah.
For some reason, I think tweets are more fun. Like a lot of the time, I think they're more funny when they've got shitty grammar.
Yeah, Will, I wish I had more of a take on this. It's just foreign to me. But I guess that it makes sense for like the Snapchatters and the Zoomers out there that are just trying to be as informal and as casual and as cool as possible. They don't want to express any type of tone in their text that could be mistaken as, as formalized.
Randy, I text with like periods and stuff like that. Was it you who told me that at first you were like, why is he so proper in these text messages?
I
it
don't
not you?
think so. I think we were talking about yesterday or whatever on Circling Back that Brett had scheduled a meeting or our Muggsy meetup in all caps, and you hated that. And then I called you out for using all lowercase, and you said no, not in text.
Nope. Everything else, I'm very proper. Like if I have like a notes app going, like, and I'm typing, even then I'm proper. Right. It's just Twitter. It's just trying to be aloof.
Can I tell you something that I am? Here's a habit that I am consciously trying to change right now, in order to cling to my youth and appear younger than I am. I'm trying to eliminate the double space between sentences.
I was really hoping you weren't going to say that because the fact that you're still doing that is insane.
I've had the past like 2 years. I'm trying so hard to not do a double space.
I have never once in my life done a double space after.
How did you not? You were not trained in the classic arts of the double space after
the MLA format?
We were told to. I never did it. I never did it.
Man.
I think it's insane that people did it.
I mean, 20 years now of typing on computers, it's a very difficult habit to get rid of. And like I'm a classical guy, right? Like I can't stand people that don't, or not the people, but I cannot stand the lack of an Oxford comma in
That's just
writing.
weird at this point. Like, what are you doing?
It really bothers me when people don't use it. So it's one of those things that like I'm just so used to. It just makes sense to me, right? That single spaces are for in between words, double spaces for in between sentences, but it makes you look old, and I know that people don't do it anymore. In the modern format, they're not teaching that in schools anymore. It's a single space, right?
When people
RIP to the length of your papers.
I know. How are you doing that? This is why you're a writer, Will, because you were just always, giving yourself that extra.
Oh, length of papers was never an issue.
You were typing with ankle weights.
If anything, I would try to type too much so that the teacher would be like, okay, well, he overdid it here.
Well, that's a classic move. I
did it every time.
On any essay test, I would just write as much as I possibly could because it's like they're not going to read 8 pages.
Exactly. If I start writing up on the margin and start drawing like a line and continuing the answer there, there's no way they're gonna read all this.
Yeah, your boy was changing the margins,
the line from the bottom of the page up to like the top, saying you got to flip this over because I needed more space.
Yeah. If you're the teacher, there's no way you're like not taking that seriously.
That's like an automatic. If they see that, I just feel like your floor is a B-.
When I would start like a written test, if I would immediately start writing as small as I could and know that I'm going to write for the next hour, but I'm going to guarantee myself a better grade by putting in the work here. I mean, I used to edit columns all the time, like all day, every day, and the things that if somebody put 2 spaces after, I would go insane. Yeah. It would piss me off because I'd have to go through and delete all of them. But
you didn't send that shit back and be like, delete your double spaces?
No, I was too nice. Yeah. I was too nice.
You called me out on it one time. I wrote something
insane.
It's the worst now because in emails I've gotten pretty good at not doing it, but every so often I'll proofread my email and I'll notice that one sentence I did do a double space after. I have to go fix it.
The thing that drives me the most insane these days, and I really confront it the most on the newsletter, is when people submit things for the newsletter, they replace the word A-N-D with an ampersand. And I'm like, this is not what we're doing here. Like, I'm sorry, it's just not. And like Instagram has become such a noun, verb, whatever, like people just use it anyway, that no one capitalizes Instagram anymore. Okay. And that also makes me mad because it is proper.
I've noticed that you've been putting "and" in the Circling Back titles where you used to do the ampersand.
I used to do the ampersand in those, but I started doing "and." Okay, I'm really pulling back the curtain here. I started using "and" for retail therapy episode titles because the font that I use for retail therapy logo and graphic design stuff, the ampersand that they have is absolutely insane. Like the rest of the font is very normal and fine. The ampersand is this huge script like thing. And so I was like, I can't use that. It's embarrassing. And so I started doing it, and I think it naturally just kind of started dipping into Circling Back life.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. It was not an intentional thing, but it's definitely It was definitely because of the retail therapy font. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to make a hard pivot anytime soon, but like if you see me start tweeting with proper grammar, please gas me up.
Much like, you start to get the itch sometimes, and you're like, I got to do something new with my hair. This would be it'd be an identity shift.
It would. It'd be mature.
So
maybe I'll do it when I'm 40 when I change my name to Bill.
You gotta, well, I mean, I don't know. I do feel like you kind of need to save this for when you're really you're really ready to make to turn over a new leaf of some sort and rebrand.
Like I'm going to write a book one day and the publisher's going to be like, well, no one's going to buy a book if you're tweeting like this. Like you need to display that you're worthy of getting an actual literary deal. We'll see how it goes. If you are a Gen Zer who listens to this podcast, why? But also, just know that
they got to keep up with the they need to they got to keep the ops close.
They got to know how to talk to their superiors at work and gas them up.
Yeah.
But just make sure to have your auto capitalization on. It's a real easy way to set yourself apart, I guess.
At the very least, the part that I do agree with, and I don't really have anybody that works for me, but like work emails, yeah, clean that shit up.
I don't know if I don't know. Depending on the source of the lowercase in a work email, I might be like, that person's cool.
It's too affected. It's too much of an affectation.
It's too affected.
Yeah.
Let's do some articles of interest. Let's be quick on these. So even though Gen Z is not drinking anymore, apparently a lot of them are just doing hallucinogens based on these studies from since the pandemic. Does this surprise you at all?
No. Because I have an Instagram account, so I'm well aware that people that everybody except for me is microdosing on mushrooms and LSD and whatever else, and just totally optimizing their brain space, and they're just they're expanding their horizons and their lives because of it, and I'm just getting left in the dust because I'm not doing any hallucinogens.
Well, yeah. You're using only one part of your brain.
Right.
When you take a hallucinogen, Barrett, it exercises an infinite amount parts of your brain. So, I mean, what are you doing?
Yeah.
If you want to come over and do some 2CB tonight, we can just chill at my crib and just vibe out.
What is two? Why don't you see? I don't even know what 2CB is.
Come on, dude. You got to get with your street drugs.
Yeah.
Now, 2CB, I think it's like a combination of like Molly and acid when it comes to the effects of it. But yeah, apparently these kids are doing it. I kind of get it. And if a lot of the stuff that was anti-drinking for that generation was health focused. Yeah. And while I don't necessarily know, the long-term effects of these things, I think it's easier to claim wellness when you don't wake up with a hangover from whatever you're doing.
That seems very accurate. Yes.
I just think that it really just kind of feeds itself, and it doesn't surprise me at all.
That's a newfangled way of thinking. If it doesn't leave you with a hangover, it must be good. It must be good and healthy for you, and better than imbibing alcohol.
Yeah, it's like, I can smoke this Elf bar.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't linger on my clothing like a cigarette would, so it's probably not as bad for me. It also tastes like marshmallows.
Yeah, this article cites ketamine therapy as well, which I know is huge, definitely among the celebutants out there as well. It seems like all the celebs are doing K therapy.
Microdosing's been around for people have been doing that for years. So
but it seems like there's quite a bit of there's a big push, and I assume that it will lag behind the marijuana movement, but people are trying to get this shit decriminalized and legalized essentially as well because there are so many claims of benefit and
the research behind the way that certain drugs can help people with PTSD and things like that, it's really interesting, and it starts to make you wonder why I got hammered every weekend for 10 years in a row instead of just maybe dabbling in some other stuff. I don't know.
because I think as millennial people, as millennial persons, we still kind of came out from the tail end of the Dare generation.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much.
Where drugs are bad.
Very much.
All drugs are bad, and then obviously you go to marijuana kind of falls out of that. I think even for us fell out of that umbrella, but the other stuff still seemed very scary to us, I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean, Dare was just the local moms getting together and putting on a t-shirt and telling you not to do drugs.
Yeah. But yeah, why does this column give us any type of reason for the Zoomers just being all in on
I think they just like getting fucked up.
on Shrooming?
Yeah, I think I don't know. She says I don't do MDMA often now, or often at all now. I don't enjoy it anymore. It just makes me anxious and stressed. I do think that there is the mental hangover from these things is much different from the physical hangover of an alcoholic drink, and I think that does get undersold.
Yeah.
So I've heard.
Yeah, they're citing the lack of a come down, and just getting after it. Just a new generation, man. They pick up on new things. Every generation does something different, right?
Yeah. Hey, good for them. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Test your stuff. Kim Kardashian's getting sued. She's probably getting sued for like a million different things, but this one's the most entertaining one. The Donald Judd Foundation has sued her over the promotion of cheap knockoffs of their designs. She posted a YouTube video of her office space where she showed the tables that were done by Judd, but the foundation claims that the furniture was a knockoff of their design. The foundation, before filing a legal complaint, asked Kardashian to delete the video, give the furniture for recycling, and admit her mistake. Clement's Design was also named in the lawsuit, which they hold responsible for producing the tables and chairs. They have been sued for trademark and copyright infringement. From what I saw, it sounded like she spent about $9,000 on this stuff, where she should have spent about $90,000 on this stuff.
Okay, all right.
She can afford this kind of stuff, and I'll be honest. Maybe I'm just being too sympathetic to Kim K here. I don't think she probably knew that it was a knockoff, and I also think that like if she would have known she would have gotten killed for this, she would have just spent the $90K to get it.
Probably.
I don't see a scenario where she doesn't just pay for that stuff. It's I also don't like it. So
I'm right. Like, is this is the furniture in question?
Yeah, like I don't want to put my name on that. That looks like it looks like I'm sure there's other stuff that he makes that is more impressive, but like if just from a first glance at the dining room table, this looks like what I would make if somebody tasked me today with making a dining room table in 24 hours.
Yeah, so this looks like an unfinished workspace in a someone's amateur like woodworking shop.
This is a jound table.
This is a jound table. Now, I guess I'm the closer I look, these are chairs, right?
Oh, I guess they are. That makes sense.
They like slot in.
That to me just looked like somebody needed more support on the table.
No, that is what it looked like at first. Now, but that's pretty cool design element, and maybe this photo is also just kind of like it seems like it was zoomed in.
I mean, it's a screenshot of a YouTube video of a social post.
So they do look kind of janky in this little blown up bubble here, but maybe they're cooler in real life. But yeah, look, I'm Team Kim. I'm an apologist. So I don't think she tried to rip them off.
Should we? Okay, so do you want to be an apologist for the reports about Skims just being like a terrible company?
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've buried my head in the sand on this one too.
No, apparently some reports came out that like they're like not a green company at all. They have terrible processes for things. Like they essentially got a 0 on the scale, whereas like the top, and I was actually very impressed with the top company on this for sustainability. Everlane backed it up.
Okay.
They backed it up because the first thing I did when I saw the list was like, I got to see where Everlane is because they really talk about this and I want to feel comfortable. They were number 1 on the list.
And is Skims in hot water because they claim a lot of that stuff?
I don't know if
they aren't doing it, or are they just like under investigation and like, nah, they're not doing shit?
No, I just don't think they care.
Yeah.
Like I think it's just it's just money.
Yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I do think they are probably using like quite a bit of like virgin polyester and stuff like that, which is frowned upon this day and age. But hey, man, I was just back on their website looking for restocks of the boxer briefs.
I'm gifting my boxer briefs to producer Randy for his 30th birthday today. Happy birthday, Randy.
Oh yeah, so you got him.
Randy, how do you feel about that? Big number 30, and you're getting some pre-owned drawers.
You're getting some secondhand underwear from your boy.
It's what a gift. The gift that I've been asking for over a month.
Yeah,
you have been asking, for a while.
I just wanted to try them.
Randy, I'll get them to you. They're taking up too much. I've got very minimal room in that drawer, so I need to make some more by giving you these.
Yeah, no, I'm a fan. So I'm gonna be copping more.
I would
on the next restock.
I think I could be a fan if I got the longer ones, but I got the shorter ones, and I feel like I am wearing boy shorts. It's not great.
You're just too thick.
We got some bloatcore news, some ladcore on the scene from our friend Cake Not Crumbs. Ruiz posted a reel earlier today of a $500 football jersey from our friends over at Acne Studios. And did I put in the wrong link here?
No, I think I pulled up the wrong Grom tab.
Oh, there you go. I was going to say, did I just link to my Twitter, my chill Twitter? Honestly, like pretty dope. I don't like that we're going $500 soccer jerseys now. Like we're really going peak Bruvcore now.
Yeah.
And that's a little much, but I have to say, I'm a huge fan of the front of this jersey. The patchwork, or not the patchwork, the
seaming.
It's really cool on the patch. I don't know. Here's the thing, Bear. I still don't see myself buying a soccer jersey. Being a soccer guy, I don't see myself buying a soccer jersey from a company that doesn't actually produce soccer stuff still. Like, it's still hard for me.
You have not. Yeah, I don't have one either. I've been reluctant. It just seems like, especially, I mean, I agree. I think this looks very cool. It's obviously very of the moment. The football shirt thing is clearly like we're reaching a peak here, because every time I open Essence and look at the new arrivals, like a new company has one. Reese actually posted about one that I had seen on Essence from a brand, a newer brand, I assume, because I wasn't familiar with them, called Rice 910. That are at a much more approachable price point. I'll pull those up here in a second as well. But you can't, one, I feel positive this jersey will go on sale. And two, it's just like, this is not sustainable. This is not something that you're going to reach for in your closet in 4 years and be like, hell yeah,
I crushed this.
Yeah,
timeless.
Yes. Like,
timeless.
So it's and I think the rest, let's see here. I'm going to pull these up here in a minute too. Still pretty pricey stuff. Still at a similar price point. So I was wrong. But there are some other brands that I've seen putting out some stuff. I mean, hell, this is making some of the $150 ones from Stussy or ALD seem much more palatable. But at the same time, yeah, it's just like have you seen that Nike is about to drop a re-release of like the '98 Ronaldo Brazil jersey?
No, that's pretty sick.
Now that is what
Nike,
what I'd like.
I'll say this. I love Adidas. For me, Nike makes the best current soccer stuff. Like, it's just all the stuff that they're doing just looks better. I'm very jealous of teams like Arsenal who just have sick gear all the time. Adidas just doesn't have it. And I'm very surprised. They announced recently, I think it's later. It's either like 2025, 2027, or 2029. The German national team is going away from Adidas and actually going to Nike, which is crazy to me.
Yes.
Like,
geez.
I feel like it should have, I don't know. Like, somebody dropped the ball there. And I can't believe that they're doing that, but like, also Nike just puts out such cooler stuff. I spend so much wasted time late at night editing Nike jerseys on FIFA. Like, you can just make any color palette. They have all the different designs that you can do. And I spend so much time making my like third kit for my random team that I never even play with, just because it's fun to do. I love soccer jerseys, Barrett. I love them. I think I might need to get one. I might need to put one on my wish list next week, because no episode next week.
Next week. Yeah.
I might need to put one on my wish list because I don't have very many in the stable right now that I haven't just worn out.
I think you should have gotten. You know what I like, but it kind of reminds me of the alternate, the seasonal release from Austin FC this year was like this really cool cream color.
Yeah.
With like a lighter green Yeti logo.
Yeah.
I think I'd like to grab that one. But when you posted, we talked about it on the podcast. Menu did, I think it was last season, did those like white and red Adidas ones that have the 3 block logo instead of the old school logo.
Yep. They still have that this season.
Those are sick.
Yeah, I really like it. And like, I don't know, I feel like we're in a good jersey time. I'm way too into it. Like, I get served so many accounts on my like soccer Twitter account. The best thing I ever did for like my soccer fandom was just make a separate Twitter account where the algorithm is just only soccer all the time. And a lot of that is just jerseys and stuff like that. I mean, I've talked about, what's it called? The football kit site, where you can just find literally anything. Yeah. You can find like team issued apparel with like initials on it from people and stuff like that. Like, it's just, you can spend hours digging around in there. Not spending $500 though. The only thing I'll spend $500 on is like a vintage. I would have to find like my Grail vintage Manchester United track top in order to spend something like that. It just seems insane.
Yeah, I think $500 on a designer soccer shirt is it's a no for me.
Jump the shark. Yeah. All right, let's do wish list items. Barrett, you got 2 today. I'm making you lead off.
Okay, I will lead off. I'm not much of a bag collector. I like a good bag, but over the last month,
More of a fumbler?
I am more of a bag fumbler. Yes, Will. Thank you for that. 2 have crossed my path that I'm really quite taken with. So I'm going to lead off with the one that I definitely won't be getting because they sold out very quickly when released in Japan, and I just ain't got the funds for an $1,100 backpack, but I wish I did. This is from 2 Japanese companies that collaborated. One is called Toga, and the other is Porter, who's the bag company. They do awesome bags, really, really cool stuff. And Toga is very, one of their kind of like trademarks is these little kind of like metal embellishments that they do on footwear and belts and whatever else. I love all the pockets here. It's 100% nylon bag.
So many pockets.
I just think it's like kind of rocker, but like kind of Japanese looking as well. But it's nylon, so it's functional. I like the mashup here. And there's like a shoulder bag and a couple other ones that they did as well. So mostly I just wanted to talk about these because I think they're pretty sweet. Kind of has like a Prada vibe as well.
It really does have a Prada vibe
with all their re-nylon stuff. So you get a little bit of that too. The one that I'm more interested in acquiring is another collaboration. The bag company, I actually don't know if the bag company is Japanese or American because they make stuff in both places, and these are actually made in USA bags. But the brand that they collaborated with to create these is called Post Overalls, which is a Japanese brand. One that I got to explore a little bit in Tokyo last year, and just does really, really cool stuff. They used to be carried in the States. In fact, when I worked at By George in 2013, we carried them. But I think that they pulled all that. They pulled the North American distribution back, and I think are Japan only now. But they're doing these like heavy canvas beach totes, which I just think are quite awesome. I think they're like a really good size, and this one in a color called suntan, which is like this yellow that just looked like it sat in the sun for
You got to
a
go
year.
with this one, right?
Yeah,
It's got to be the suntan one.
Super sick.
Okay, just getting out ahead of that because that one's tasty.
It's got interior pockets like I like.
You know I love a tote with an interior pocket.
I like these little side pockets too.
Water bottle pockets.
Yeah,
let's go.
So this is
imagine a newspaper flopping out of that thing. Oh my god! Can you imagine like if you just had like some kale pop, some lacinato, just dinosaur kale, just sticking out of there, just going crazy.
Dino kale. That's been my go-to kale for 2 years at least now, and I feel like it's catching on because like if I don't get to the grocery store before 6:30, it's gone.
Oh, it's gone.
Yeah,
it's gone. You massage that stuff? You soak it?
I massage. I'm a massager.
Sally soaks it and then massages it, and I have to say,
do I need to add a soak to the?
It's pretty good.
Okay,
it's pretty good. Yeah, we do Caesar salads with it, and I'm a very big fan.
Little kale Caesar.
I like to chop it up as fine as I can. I don't like getting those big pieces that just make you choke for a second. Yeah, I was going to ask you. I need a price comparison.
I've actually
here.
not done my conversion. Okay, so we're at $283, which is like generally more than I want to spend on a bag, but this one is pretty sick.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it on my wish list for now.
Okay.
It's not an imminent cop, but maybe summer rolls around. Maybe if I find myself with maybe a pool day or two heading my way, I might have to scoop this up.
You just made me realize I don't have a pool anymore now that I've moved.
Yeah.
Shit.
We are not doing our typical Laura side of the family beach trip this year, and I was just commenting yesterday with her. I was like, "This is going to be my least tan summer ever," and I'm really bummed about it.
I haven't had a tan summer in a few years.
Yeah,
maybe it's time I get tan this year. It's been a minute for me. You ready for mine?
Need some type of pool pass, Will.
I'm on my nostalgia grind right now. I don't know what hit me the other day, but I have to buy this hat. I'm not sure. I was actually surprised they were still making stuff, but I saw someone on Instagram. It was a young lady rocking a Kavu hat, and I was like, "Is that a vintage Kavu hat? Or are they still making Kavu hats?" Sure enough, Clear Above Visibility Unlimited is still in business. I don't know why I want this. I think it's because I'm simultaneously just really nostalgic because of my sons and like doing stuff with them from like being a little kid.
Yeah.
Kavu was such a major player in Northern Michigan when we were little that like I can't get away from it.
Where is Kavu based out of Michigan?
No, I think it's Seattle.
Seattle.
And so like, but it was just like all of the outdoor stores all were just stocked. And I don't know. I want to go in the garden that my dad did for me and just like wear this hat. I just want to feel like I'm in the 90s again. And for it's $40. I hardly ever wear hats, But I feel like if I had the nostalgia play here, I might do it. Some people might criticize the lack of curvature on the bill of this hat and say, Will, why would you want to wear a hat that looks so unstructured? And I don't have an answer for that.
I mean, these are like super floppy brims, though. You know what
Super
I mean?
floppy brims.
They're not gonna. It's not gonna look like you're wearing some like fitted cap. With a flat bill.
Yeah.
You know, I think you'll get a little natural curve if you slap one of these bad boys on.
It's true. I thought about going with the straight up like sun hat, but it's just not. It's not drippy enough. I had to go with this one.
Can I walk you down memory lane a little bit, Will?
Yes. Yo, you absolutely can.
So, when I was in college and in a fraternity, I've never thought about this until you brought these Cavu hats up. Even though I was like very conforming to the look and visual that I was giving with my clothes while I was in a fraternity, you know, I stuck to the script.
Yeah.
There. But when I would go visit friends at other colleges, I loved seeing what their system was doing, what they were bringing to the table, and then like bringing it back and implementing it into my wardrobe. So it was like same world, but it was like cooler stuff. So like I'll never forget. Like when I went to I visited Ole Miss once, and it was like when Southern Proper had just launched, and they were doing the little black lab logo.
Oh yeah.
And so I came back and like I had to be the first one with a Southern Proper.
I had a
shirt.
Southern Proper polo. I felt flossing in that thing.
So when I visited friends in Fayetteville, Arkansas, which has a very like, if you want to talk about a place whose Greek life leans very like deadhead and like crunchy, it's U of A. And dudes were all about the Cavu. Yeah. Especially the visors.
Oh yeah, dude.
So I came home and it like immediately popped into Whole Earth Provisions and grabbed a Cavu visor, which I still have in a drawer somewhere.
Dude, bust it out.
Let's
go hit the bars.
You got to have the right. So I'm going to look like Miko or whatever his name is, Paul Rudd's character in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, when he's got like the visor on and then just like the hair all sticking out of it. Like I got too much hair to do that thin little visor.
See, yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? True. Like I'm going to look like a real doofus. But
see, I'm devastated now. I'm poking around on their site and like I don't know if you heard, Barrett, that I'm going to the Masters this upcoming week. Yeah. And I can bring a small bag in that I can carry the camera around in, and I'm just carrying Sally's Lululemon belt bag because it's all I have for that size. Now I'm like, I could have been rocking this Cavu bag the entire time.
Did you figure out the short situation for the Masters?
I think I'm just going. No, I haven't. Okay. No, I almost just said like an answer that's just completely false. No, I think I have parsed out pretty much everything. I'm hoping the flex for my trip will be the shoes that I'll be getting in the mail tomorrow. Ah, okay. Yeah, just to pull back the curtain for everybody out there, I did an angry cop after I didn't get the Jounce Sambas, and I've officially purchased some sneakers that I have purchased before and actually sold to a retail therapy listener because I bought them in a female sizing, but I got the Tom Sachs Nike white ones. Yes. Barrett's got the orange ones, but I've just always loved the white. Yeah, and I've wanted them for so long. Sally convinced me. She brought up cost per wear. She really got me through it. So
you're gonna have a low CPW on those. I promise. They're gonna get a lot of wear.
I've been wearing the same Gore-Tex Nike sneakers for the last like 2 or 3 years, and they've treated me really well. But I gotta move on. I gotta sail on somewhere else. Yeah. I don't have anything else today, Barrett. Like we said, though, we should probably said this off the top. No episode next week. We'll both be out of town doing stuff. And so we'll be back to you in a couple weeks. Yeah. I think that's it.
Nice little break for us, huh?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We need it, man. We deserve it. We've just been working our asses off. All right. See you guys then.